The second chapter from your political science book of grade 12, and the name of the chapter is Unitary and Federal State. So we are discussing from page number 35 of your book, and here we are going to know about what is Confederation. So confederal government, we are getting introduced to confederal government. So what is confederation? Confederation means where the several sovereign states are coming together, forming a common government. Okay, forming a common government, and this government is called as confederal government. Why this several sovereign states are coming together? Because they are coming for a single goal or single achievement or maybe single aim. Okay, they are coming together, signing a treaty or agreement, and then they are forming a nation. All the states are sovereign, they are coming together and forming a common government, and they are forming one nation, you can say. So here are few basic points. Let us understand what is the difference between federation and confederation. Confederation is a loose union, federation is a complete union. So confederation, it can last for a long time or it can last for very less time also, and confederation is loosely because they are uniting for a single aim, with a single aim, okay, or agenda or a mission, you can say. They are coming together, they can break anytime, whereas federation is a complete union, they cannot break because it is a single nation. Within that nation there is different kind of divisions apart, but it is one nation. First it is a nation, then divided into states, and here it was state first, then getting united into state. Confederation is based on an international treaty among sovereign states. I was telling you about this. They are signing a treaty or an agreement. Federation comes into existence by an agreement or a mutual treaty. Why mutual treaty? Federation, because we are casting our vote, and from that vote our representatives are going. So it is mutual. Okay, we are agreeing to the system, we are agreeing to the federal system. That's why the federal system is existing in our country. Next is confederal government is a very limited organization, and federal government is a central of powerful government. Why confederation government is a very limited organization? Because they are functioning with some specific objectives, so they are having limited organization, whereas federal means they are running the entire state. And we have already understood that federal government means central power will be there, states will be there, even maybe local governments also will be there, so they are having many more organizations. Confederal government exists only delegated powers, while federal government exists a large amount of power. So a federal government is having power, they are getting this power from the constitution, whereas a confederal government, when the sovereign states are joining together, they are delegating, means giving, they are giving some power to the common government, and then they are ruling. So you can say that federal state is having much more power than the confederal one. Federation works under a constitution. Confederation works under a treaty, and each member state has its own sovereign constitution. Understood? I can give an example of this, that suppose India, then America, and maybe Germany, all of them came together to find out the medicine of coronavirus. So they are coming together, signing a treaty, they are forming a confederal common government, and then they are ruling it. So hopefully you understood this point. Federation is one nation state, confederation is a group of nation state. Okay, federation is for only one nation state is there, and confederation, a group of nation states are joining together. There are some merits and demerits of federation also. Let us first go through the merits. Federation is most suitable system for every big state like China, like you can say India. All these nation states should have a federation, because it is not possible for a single government sitting in a position or in a place and rule the entire nation. If the nation is small, then the unitary form is fine, but as the nation is big, we have to go for federation. Federation constitutes the best possible means to secure strength and autonomy of small states, right? As the small states are there, the representatives or the state government can actually understand what is the need and want of that particular state. It is not possible for the central government to understand. So somewhere someone sitting in Delhi, is not possible to understand what is the need of the person sitting in Chennai or somebody sitting in Assam, which is not possible for them. So the state government can understand and recognize the need of that area. Federation constitutes the only hope for the small states of the world to combine to secure the gains of union and yet maintain their individuality and autonomous entity. So the federation is the best way how the small states can maintain their identity. In this, we are not hampering, like West Bengal, people are not hampered by the central government. Each state of India is having its own culture, own heritage they are having, own language we are following. So all these are safeguarded by the federal constitution. A federal system is indeed a truly democratic system, right? Because here we are having different layers of the or levels of the government, and people are going and casting their vote. And here we are having multi-party system also. Many political parties are there where the common people are going and selecting their representative. This is also a true sense of democratic government. Lasky describes federation as a natural form of organizing a state. So he is saying that since when the federation came into existence, Lasky is saying that this is the best form where the individual or group of individuals can rule the government, and this is the best way. Federation constitutes the best school of political education. Here we can understand the best way of democracy, democracy's principle, and decentralization. Decentralization of power. It is not centralized power. Decentralization of power, equality, freedom between the people, and we can find unity in diversity. All these are found in federation. With the principle of unity in diversity as a backbone, the federation makes it possible for the nation with social, cultural, linguistic, religious, and regional diversities to maintain themselves as a state. This is exactly, we are talking of the scenario of India. We are having so much of religious, linguistic means language, cultural, social, regional, so much of differences are there. Then also we are united because of the federation. Next, what are the demerits? Demerits of federation. In the first instance, the division of power between the central and state can be source of big weakness of both. Yes, because whatever the division is already done in the constitution can be big weakness also, because whatever maybe decision regarding maybe railways, okay, something is done in those railway sector, like if some rules are being made on the railway sector and applied all over India, some state might have any problem, but they cannot interrupt. Right, again similar thing, if the state is having some power and trying to apply, the central government tries to object it, then that will not be applicable. So equally, as the division of power is there, it can have an adverse effect on the people. Moreover, the division of power between central and state keep their relations strained due to rise of conflicts, disputes, and deadlocks. regarding their respective spheres of activity. As I was telling you, there will be a contest, and there will be both of them will always be in a confusion that if this is happening, then suppose a central government is taking any kind of decision, then that can be opposed by the state government, or a state government can advise, which can be again ignored. So there will be a sense of bitterness between them. Okay, and there can state can feel that that the central government is ignoring them. So the sense of bitterness. Division of power also leads to division of responsibility, which really leads to destruction of responsibility. This means as the powers are getting divided, people can think like that both the governments can think. The central government will think that the state will be talking about it or thinking about it, and the state will say, why should I? Because the central is there to take the responsibility. As there is division of power, the responsibility is also dividing. There can be confusion between two governments. The federal state is usually a rigid system because the process of amendment of the constitution is very difficult one. As I have told you, a federal system, basically in this federal system we have written constitution. As because we are having the written constitution, it can be rigid by nature. Rigid means for the amendment things or the change in the constitution is very challenging. Number 5. Further, even the supporters of federalism admit that it is very expensive system. Too many bureaucrats, too many legislative, executive, judiciaries are being applicable, and they are lots of finance is being spent over this entire system. So it is very expensive by its nature. The principle of unity in diversity and unity with autonomy are the actual practice always a source of regionalism and in political life of the federal. So here are few points which are saying about the problems of the federal system of the government. Okay, what are the common problems? Again, they are saying about some common problems faced, and it is the same thing we have discussed above, and hopefully you have understood the chapter. Go through the chapter. Thank you.